Hello, my loves. It is Kim the Goddess on my personal page. This is supposed to be a video blog. I don't know if this will even make it up or not. I'm not even sure on what I specifically want to share with you guys because it's a long story, but I um I found it therapeutic when I speak on things and not hold them in, and I find that I obsess over them less in my head and go over these situations over and over again in my head. When I just speak on a situation, let it out so that I can let it go. So what happened yesterday involving, let's see, get the correct word, involving my youngest child's father on my page. So I don't share a lot of my personal business, and if you have been following me on Facebook since I started modeling, you know that there was a 2-year period where I wasn't on Facebook. So at the beginning of this 2-year period, that's when the person I was dealing with, because there was some more drama on my page, the person I was dealing with at the time got locked up, and I took that time to, that's when my spiritual journey really started, because I took that time to put myself in solitude. And while I was in that solitude, I came to the realization that there's a lot of things that needed to be fixed within myself and in my life. And that's when I really started to examine and break down those things and basically start to rebuild my life and start to plant those new seeds that are starting to blossom now. So during that time, that was a very toxic situation. I wouldn't even call it, or I say that's my ex because that was the last like situation that and we did at some point try, but and I wanted to speak on that because I deal with people that have their own interpretation of things, and they may be more vocal than me, they may be more outgoing than me, they may be more popular than me, they may have more people that listen to them than me, and just hearing one side of the story and not telling my side of the story allows people, and not that it matters, but it's important for me to share my side of the story, and I'm realizing that now. Because before I would just let stuff happen and just, sweep it under the rug. It is what it is, whatever. But now it's at a point where I'm trying to build a more abundant life for myself, and I want to manifest more healthy relationships. So it's important that I fix those things. So back to what I was saying. He got locked up, and we were friends. I wouldn't call that a relationship. We were friends, and it went somewhere where it shouldn't have went, and stuff just got confusing and lack of communication. During that time, I was going through a divorce. I was actually still married when I met him. I had just moved back here. I had a job making like $16 an hour. I had my own apartment and everything. I had got myself together, and then I made the decision to move back for the sake of my daughter. And at that time, if you would have asked me then, that was the worst decision that I could have made. But looking back now, that was the beginning of my independence. Okay, that was the beginning of me wanting to do this on my own and me trying to figure out, So I moved back here. Things didn't go how I expected them to go. And I found myself, I don't want to say homeless because I always have somewhere to go, but I found myself between places, this place. I just found myself all over the place, and I was trying my hardest to numb myself and fight depression and anxiety, because the people that I looked out for when I had my job and all of that other stuff, like, yeah, you come stay with me, yeah, this and that, like when it came time and I was on my ass, on my face, I didn't have that help. And that really, really, really hurted me. And then the people that I thought I had a certain level of loyalty to, no matter what, they showed me their true colors as well. So I was real down. And a lot of people was like, Kim, you used to be so quiet. Then I was so skinny back then. Like, I ain't gonna say I've always been big, but I've always had a little meat on me or something. You know what I'm saying? But I was just very, very depressed back then. And he was somebody that came into my life. I decided, Kim, you just put yourself out. I ain't gonna say put yourself out there. I started to talk to several people just to get my mind off of things. So my intention when I met him was just to, I knew he was where he was, and I wanted it that way for a reason, because I just wanted somebody I could talk to, I could laugh with. And if anything, I had to forget about you, I could do that. But it was deeper than what I expected it to be, what I anticipated it on being, and it just, like I said, went to a place that it did not go. It shouldn't have went, and it was on both of our parts. Okay, so moving forward. So when I met my baby daddy, I was still talking to him. I was still dealing with him. I was still going to see him, because back then my loyalty, I was loyal to a fault, and I didn't put myself first, and I didn't think about myself, and I didn't express my feelings, and really, I would let a lot of stuff slide. And I still felt like, okay, you told this person that you was gonna be there for them, and I felt like I owed them that. And I realized that at some point I didn't, because it was worse. Like, and this is not me trying to talk down, but very narcissistic, and it was just not good. So when I met him, I wasn't trying to meet him. Stuff just happened how it happened, and we had a conversation. I told him, now this is my thing with him, and as y'all can see from Facebook the other day, I did not know this man. We had sex within a month or two period, and he got me pregnant, and that was it. He did not know me. He obviously been watching me on Facebook, or been around me, around people having conversations about me that didn't know me. So he in his head feel like he know me, and he don't at all, like seriously. So when I met him, we had a conversation, and I was telling him that, I told him I was still in love, but I corrected that and told him that my feelings were still in that situation, and I was trying to pull them out of that situation. Nowhere, no shape, no form did I insinuate that I wanted to be with him, that I was going to leave my ex to be with him, any of that. He's the type of person where no matter, as going back to that, he's the type of person just dealing with me that no matter what you say to him, he's going to hear what he wants to hear. And he's going to do what he wants to do. And that don't work or fly with me. And that's what the issue was. Okay, you came over this first night. I wasn't on no pill. I wasn't on no ecstasy or any of that. I was on anxiety medication. I didn't expect him to come over. Like I said, everything just happened how it happened. I had to pop me a half an anxiety pill and made me a little drink, and I was in my bed. That's what I normally do, because y'all don't know, I be in serious pain. That's my instance. I be in serious pain by the end of the night from me moving around and my back issues and all of those things. So I be in some serious pain at the end of the night. And back then I didn't meditate and do all of those things that I do now. So going back to that, he tried to force himself into a situation with me. You brought your little raggedy little book bag. First you told me that you were trying to get in touch with your mama, that your sole purpose was coming down here was to take care of your mama, and you promised her that, and you told me that you needed to get in touch with her. So it went from that to, I can always go to my sister's house, da 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 da. So then once you got in touch with your mama, then it was, okay, I could always go to my sister's house. Then you asked me to take you to your sister's house, and then you was like, see man, I don't want to be around that. So then I'm like, oh Lord, this is what we not finna do. So I'm patient, I don't say nothing. So then a tragedy happens, and in that mind I'm still trying to stand strong in what I'm saying, like you're not gonna emotionally manipulate me or anything to get me to settle into being in a relationship or being involved with you or letting you stay with me, and that's not what I want. So a tragedy happened. I actually did a crystal reading for him because he was trying to get in touch with his mother, and I don't want to tell his personal business, but this, since he want to put stuff out there. So I did a crystal reading for him. I asked him had he got in touch with her. It came out that somebody was sick, and he was like, ain't nobody sick, this and that. So within the next couple of days, he get a call that his mom's in the hospital, and within a 24-hour period, she passed away. Now then I felt bad because I was being a total bitch to him, and because I wanted him to go. I didn't want you to feel like shit was sweet and it was okay. And I felt totally bad because he was going through something now, but I still felt how I felt. And then now I found out I'm pregnant. So now it's like, Lord, it's just a lot going on at this moment. So I kind of tried to wait until, you know, the moment passed. We went to the doctor, and when they gave me a pregnancy test, they were like, your the hormones are, they're not low, but they weren't at a high level, is what they were saying. So, and he went into the doctor's office with me. He heard the doctor say, yes, I've been diagnosed with chronic depression, chronic anxiety. I haven't cured myself, but I'm seriously not in that space. I'm not that person no more. So so after we leave the doctor's office, I tried to have an adult conversation with him, and then at that time I wasn't where I am now, and I had funds, but it wasn't like it is now. And he had a little job. I'm not gonna act like he was totally just homeless. You had a little job at a fast food place, but I just to move past that. So I had tried to have an adult conversation with him, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be mean, I don't want to be nasty with you, but I want to co-parent. I told him, I was like, I'm not putting you out. I was like, today or tomorrow or next week, I'm just letting you know that I don't want to be in a relationship, and I want to co-parent with you. And these are my exact words. And I am willing to help you get a place. His excuse was, I don't make enough money. I'm like, okay, well, get 2 jobs. You don't have no kids. It was always, and that made it worse. An excuse, an excuse, an excuse, an excuse, an excuse, an excuse. Oh, you don't want me because you don't think, because I don't have money. I don't want you because you don't have the motivation. Okay. It's deeper than what people be trying to make it seem like it is, and I be trying to hold my tongue and I gotta stop doing that. So even in my bluntness, people, he just one of the people that just don't get it. Okay, so he got so mad, which is expected. I expected him to get mad, but he started punching my dashboard, mad and everything. Okay, now you getting violent. So my words to him was, okay, I gotta get you from around me, because I don't know what type of females you're used to dealing with, but we'll fight for real. And I don't care about you being no man. I don't care about getting beat up or none of that. We'll fight for real. Like, I got to get you from around me. We're in the car arguing. So I got to go pick up Cheyenne. You mad about that too, because there's a little bit of gas in the car, but this is my car, and you could have just got your ass on a bus and went to work. Anyways, so now you mad. So you get mad and was like, drop you off to your people house. So I take you to your people house. You get out my car and you start kicking my car. And he's kicking the door where Cheyenne is, and she starts screaming. I never in my life wanted to shoot nobody so bad. That's why I don't have a gun and I don't need a gun. And I told him that to his face. I was that mad. That's why I'm like, we don't need to be around each other, because your temper and my temper, it's not gonna mix well. And the difference is I know how to control mine. You don't, obviously, because you out here kicking my car. So a couple days go by or whatever. I find out he done did what he done did. So now I'm crying because I'm pregnant. He wanna act stupid. I ain't asked for this situation. What the fuck going on in my life right now? Like, so I go to talk to him like, okay, why did you do all this? Why did you? And then even then, he took some accountability, but he still placed it off on other people. And it was other people's fault because they didn't talk you out of it. Like, all of that stuff, those things to me matter, and it's the number one thing is the temper. So, all right, you did what you did. I understand you gotta leave. I don't want you to leave. I let you know that. I don't want you to leave because I'm pregnant. I don't want to have no baby by myself. I let you know that. Okay, so you leave. So in the midst of you gone, I'm chilling. I'm by myself. I'm getting myself together. I just so happened to run across somebody that I got deep, serious feelings for. We end up having sex. I end up going to the doctor. I'm talking about this was 2 to 3 days after. I end up going to the doctor and I'm dilated. I didn't know and I didn't feel it because like he said, my cervix is weak because number one, I was raped at 14, and if you go back a couple videos on here, I told you guys that I was raped at 14. That's number one, and number two, I had a miscarriage and had to have a D&C, and that weakens your cervix. So I had complications when I had Cheyenne, and it's not. And what happens is the heavier they get, it puts pressure on my cervix and it starts to open. So what was happening was I was in labor and I didn't know I was in labor. Y'all, I have back problems, especially since my accident. I have back issues, and I had Cheyenne. I had epidural. I have back problems. I have back pain. So I didn't know that's what it was. So I go to the doctor, and this particular doctor, and yes, I caught him crying and all this other stuff. This particular doctor was not a good doctor. Let me just say that, because her initial thing was for me to take a pill to terminate my pregnancy, and I didn't want to do that. And she was like, well, you're bold. She's like, you bold and you brave. I was like, you know what? It's in God's hands. Like, seriously. And I walked out of the doctor's office, and I called him. After I hadn't already made that decision, I called him and came to that conclusion within myself. I called him and had a conversation with him about that. So what I did not tell him was I had sex with someone. I was like, I have a weak cervix, which none of that was a lie. I didn't initially tell him I had sex with anyone, but I didn't owe you that. That was really still ain't none of your business. My thing is, I told you I was in the hospital. They sold my cervix up because I had already been high risk and I had a history. I qualified for them to they sold my cervix up so that I would stop dilating. And Marley's foot, my water broke. Marley's foot was in between my legs. She was foot link bridge. So her foot was literally pushing the bag and her foot like through my vagina. So I was in the hospital. They put me on bed rest. If you know me, if you know my people, they will vouch for this. They will, I have paperwork. I don't have to lie about something like that. I told him I called him and was like, hey, I'm going to have the baby because you told me that you had money put up to come. Your people was going to help you catch a flight and all of that. You told me that more than one time. So I tell you, okay, I'm having a baby on this particular day. Okay, I'm coming. I don't hear from him. I didn't have the baby yet. I had the baby maybe a couple of days after that or so, but I still didn't hear nothing from him. And this began to be a pattern after I had Marley. It was like when I really, really needed something, or you would tell me that you were going to do something, or you would volunteer, and then I wouldn't hear from you. And then I get on social media and you out on dates and you having fun, and then you telling me you doing this, and this and that. And I'm acting like I'm cool with it, but deep down, bro, I'm pregnant and I'm by myself, pregnant with a baby, and I'm going through this. And so I'm not mad, I'm not bitter, because that's my miracle baby. And she has been the biggest blessing for me. And if you don't know that they are blessings, then you are just lost in the sauce. And I feel like any individual that is blessed to be a parent and God gives them that blessing of bringing a child into this world, they won't run. And they will do everything they can, just like I am now, within my power, to make sure that they are secure. Period. So don't try to make it seem like I was cheating on my man and messing with you. Don't try to make it seem like I lied to you. Try to make it seem like I was out here thoughting around and doing all this other stuff. Me and you just don't mesh well. Me and you just don't get along. You have a bad temper. I have a bad temper. And you don't know me. The people that you think know me don't know me. So my last and final warning, if you are watching this, stop trying me. And you should know this well enough to know I'm blunt and I'm frank and I'm honest, and I'm the force behind what I'm saying is real, like for real. Hopefully, like I said, it will come to a point, just like with my other child. Like, we went through a divorce. Me and this man went through worse stuff because I was young, and that's another video that that I want to put out. Me and this man was young and dumb and just doing all, young, wild, and free, and just making all kind of mistakes, and we did some wrong stuff to each other. But we came to a point where we realized, and this just recently happened, sometimes stuff take time, man. And I kept telling my daughter, and my mama kept telling me, Kim, just pray on this situation and let God handle it. And y'all, when I did that, God worked it out. I'm like, so for real, we had to come to that place where we had to understand, number one, each other, and number two, that we both love our daughter, but we had to forgive ourselves and forgive each other, even if we don't get the apology that we want. Because I'm not gonna act like he didn't apologize. It's just hard when you go through a divorce and it's a violent, abusive toxic relationship, and you have children with a person, and you still have to deal with them. And it's like, once again, I'm going through this again. So I'm very, very selective, and I'm not emotionally unavailable. I'm just very selective about who I decide to involve myself with on any level going forward, because I have to deal with these two people until my kids get grown. And it is a possible trigger for me every time I see them, or every time they do something stupid. Like, that's something, a process that you have to go through, following divorce and following these type of situations. So hopefully, like I said, we can come to a place where we can trust each other. We can have a sensible adult conversation and do what's best for Marley. So Marley was born at 7 months. She was born prematurely. I was 27 weeks when she was born. The doctor had already told me at 28 weeks the baby can basically live outside of the mother's womb. And like I said, y'all, I had been doing my tarot cards and praying, and God just told me to expect a miracle, and I did. And that little girl's so smart and strong, and she just, every day she amazed me, and I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. So it upset me when he was like, I tried to kill my baby. What are you talking about? And then I didn't want to put you on blast. I didn't want to put your business out there, but soon as I said the smallest thing, here you go with this whole book of screenshots. Nobody asked you all of that information. None of that had anything to do with what we were talking about. So, and I understand, yeah, but that's because you wouldn't leave me alone. So we were both wrong. We were both petty. We were both immature. And just on Marley's behalf and for Marley's sake, I apologize for my childish part in that. But stop playing with me. And you have some work to do. Don't get on social media and act like, don't do that. I tried to be patient with you, and I'm still being patient with you for you to get yourself together. Most baby mamas don't do that, okay? So, all right, y'all, this was not to pay any of the above or anybody mentioned in this video as any type of way. This is me speaking my truth. This is therapeutic for me. And this also is a way for those mentioned to get my point of view of the situation if they're willing to be open, to that. Most of the time, toxic people aren't. They stuck in their own world. They stuck in their own mind. But y'all, there'll be another video coming. I might, because I feel like I explained it in this video, life after divorce and all of that stuff. I might. But I want you guys to stay safe. Please subscribe, y'all. Subscribe. And hit the notification bell, and so that you're notified each and every time I upload one of my video blogs. We are going to get into some other content. I'm not just going to make every video about sitting here and telling y'all my business, my life story and all of that. But I just want to, like I said, share certain things with you guys, because maybe it'll help someone else. But like I said, I'll see you guys later. It's 420, so blaze up. Peace and love. Stay safe. Stay blessed and be blessed, because you are blessed. Namaste.